In 1992, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad was set up by the Commissioner of Police to curb a spate of armed robberies in Nigeria. By 2009, it had become a large and powerful unit, and the focus expanded beyond armed robberies to internet fraudsters. It also became largely uncontrollable. Members of the unit were allowed to carry guns, drive unmarked cars, and operate without badges or uniform. They became known for their violent harassment of young innocent Nigerians. They also forced young Nigerians to withdraw money from ATMs and make transfers under duress. There are numerous examples of people who have been raped, harassed, flogged, extorted, injured, or killed by the unit. In 2006, a campaign was launched calling for the Special Anti-Robbery Squad to be disbanded. It became widespread and drew some attention. Within 3 years, the unit had been reformed, overhauled, decentralized, disbanded about 3 or 4 times, but without success. Then in early October, the first protest started against the infamous police squad. Mostly young Nigerians gathered in front of the House of Assembly in Lagos State to demand the end of the unit. Within days, thousands of protesters had gathered in 100 cities around the world, with the endsars spreading globally. The government announced on October 11 that yet again it was disbanding the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. But the protesters have not let up. They now call for wider reforms of the police. Even though the protesters were peaceful, orderly, and organized, the fallout from state-led interventions generated violence as thugs and hoodlums attacked peaceful protestants in the first phase of the protest, and many protesters were injured and wounded, while the authorities looked the other way. The protests were about illegal policing methods and directed at rogue elements in the police. As such, the police initially thought that their business was to stop the protest. But when it became clear that a movement was on the way, the police retreated and refused to protect the protesters. Then pictures of apparent security operations aiding and abetting the hoodlums emerged on social media. There were attempts at breaking in ethnic and religious frothiness to break the movement, but they did not fly. And finally, the Lekki and other shootings.
Shoot! Let them shoot! Let them shoot! No problem! No problem!
Lives were lost in the violation of the constitutional right of life. This includes civilians and security men and women. Public and private property were vandalized. Warehouses where COVID-19 relief materials were stored were being looted. Women and girls were raped in contravention of the new national resolve to end sexual and gender-based violence. While the mayhem was in progress, many businesses were forced to close and lost productive hours. Social events were postponed and airlines had suspended flights while travelers on road were trapped due to road closures. The economy must have lost hundreds of billions, if not a trillion or so, due to these challenges. All these are in the negative domain, and there are issues that no reasonable Nigeria will want to see this repeat. Please, as you are about looking at the lessons learned, if you just visiting the channel for the first time, please click on the red subscribe button. Subscription is free. There was no date announced for the protest. It took off like a single match. Then it became a burst of matches and became a huge fire. Many Nigerians live under the illusion that revolution is not possible. They think Nigerians are docile. That is a lack of a deep sense of history. How wrong? These protests have proved that nothing is permanent but change, including change in human thought processes. Secondly, the protest has been wrongly defined a youth protest. No, it is a protest by Nigerians, irrespective of age. Just that youths are more because they are more largely affected. Business are no longer going well for the parents. Many of the graduates are unemployed after spending years in university. Women and girls no longer work freely because they are scared of being raped. Farmers are angry because they and their wives can't go to farm because of armed criminals, and their victims never get justice. Though we call it endsars protest, the demands are far more than that. Endsars is just a slogan for the demand for the transformation of Nigeria from a ghetto society to an egalitarian society. They imposed electrical tariff, nobody spoke. They increased fuel, nobody spoke. People in power feel they can do anything and get away with it. This is a very funny way to think. Fourthly, the protesters were creating wealth by making service providers richer. Sharing of pictures and videos tripled for online services, running into billions of naira. Now, a new social contract is being written. Nigerians are creating a new understanding of how leaders and public servants should relate to citizens. Lastly, the youth are reinventing governance in Nigeria and bringing about a new culture of asserting rights among the citizenry. Nigeria must be a better country to be. And please remember to subscribe to this channel. Merry Christmas in advance.